Dr. Mindy here, and on this video, I'm going to talk about vitamin D and weight loss. Yep, and I'm going to quote two interesting research articles that are going to show you that vitamin D may be that missing thing that you need for your weight loss efforts. So the first thing I want you to realize is that vitamin D deficiency is a massive health problem, and so many people have vitamin deficiencies. And what's really tricky about vitamin D is that there's only three ways to get it. Your food, supplementation, or the sun. But when we look at food, it's like the fish, like the sardines and the really fatty fishes. So what we're seeing and why so many people have low vitamin D is because we're not getting out in the sun or putting a lot of blockers of the sun on top of us, a lot of toxic sunscreens. We're not taking the supplementation, and we're not eating sardines. So I get it. I don't eat sardines. So I like to get it from other resources. What was interesting about this connection between vitamin D and weight loss is the first study I found was actually on women. A woman-only study. It had 50 women, and what they did is they took these 50 women. They were all overweight or obese, and they were ranged in the age group between 20 and 40. And what they did is they split them into two groups. One group got 50,000 IUs of vitamin D a week. The other group got a placebo supplement. So they thought they were taking vitamin D, but it wasn't vitamin D. And they did this for 6 weeks. So what I love about just the makeup of this study is it was women, and they did it over a period of time. And at the end of 6 weeks, here's what they found. The group that had taken the 50,000 IUs over 6 weeks, they lost weight. That it was statistically relevant that they not only lost weight, but they also lost weight around their waist. Hallelujah. So many of us are looking for that drop in weight around their waist. So they not only lost weight, they not only lost it around their weight, but their overall BMI went down. Now, why that third statistic is really important is because when the BMI goes down, that is often a measurement for your long-term health goals and making sure that you're going to meet those long-term health goals. We throw the BMI around a lot as a measurement of overall health prediction. So we see with an increase in supplementation that we are going to bring those three markers down, which is incredible. Now, the placebo group didn't get that. So what I want to dive into is why did that happen? Before we all go running out and getting vitamin D supplementation, it's not like we can just take vitamin D and start and eat whatever food we want and we're going to lose weight. There's a little nuance to this. And so there's three things that I want you to understand. The first is when we bring vitamin D up, and I say this so much to women when I'm talking about sex hormones, we have to realize that vitamin D is like a little boat. It's carrying hormones around your body. So it needs to be able to get these hormones to different areas. So when we're working with women that are trying to get their sex hormonal picture up, we like to see a woman's vitamin D around 70 or 80. That tells me she's got enough boats to carry estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone throughout her system. But the same thing goes with insulin. We've got to have this vitamin D boat to carry insulin around the system so it can get to the tissues that need insulin. Because remember that insulin pushes glucose into the cell. If you don't have insulin available to push glucose into the cell, then both the production of insulin and glucose is going to get stored in fat. So when we saw this group that got this mega dose of vitamin D, all they did is get more boats to carry insulin throughout the body. Super cool. Okay, second thing that I want you to realize, and the article, I'm going to link both these studies in here. I'm about to talk about the second study here in a moment. But what I want you to realize is that when you are insulin resistant, which tends to be the case with people who are overweight or obese, what that means is insulin cannot get into the cell. But it's not just insulin that can't get into the cell. Vitamin D can't get into the cell. Estrogen can't get into the cell. Progesterone can't get into the cell. So the more weight we carry, the more insulin resistance we have in our life, the less hormones have access to the cell. So that leads me to the third point and why I think this study showed such an improvement in weight loss, which is all that extra vitamin D, all the extra glucose, all the extra hormone is getting stored in fat, and that fat storage is not using those nutrients. It's not using the vitamin D, it's not using those hormones. So it's all stored in fat. So when people start to lose weight, which was something that they showed in the second study where this was actually a group of men that they put on a really long fast. It was an 8-day fast. And what they saw is that when men went on an 8-day fast, their vitamin D levels went up. Well, what happens is as you lose that weight, all that vitamin D now gets released into your system and it becomes more usable for your cells to carry the hormones throughout your system. So do you see how this all intertwines? Is that we look at, yes, when you're low in vitamin D, according to the first study, it does appear that bringing vitamin D back into the picture can help with weight loss. That was the first study that we talked about. The second piece of this is that we are starting to see that the more weight you carry, the less vitamin D is available. The third study was a male study, or the second study, but my third point was a male study that is showing that when we release weight, especially through something like fasting, we release all that vitamin D into our system, allowing for more boats to carry more insulin, to carry more sex hormones. So I really wanted to come at this topic from a very detailed, deep way. So let me know if you have questions on that and put it in the comments. I'm here to answer it. But the most important takeaway I want you to understand is that vitamin D matters for your metabolic health. And when we bring in that supplementation, when you commit to getting out into the sunlight, when you eat your sardines, if that's what you want to eat, and then you combine that with a fasting lifestyle that keeps your weight and your metabolic health in good shape, now we have a door in to bringing vitamin D up. And when we get that vitamin D up, it's not just about losing weight and looking good, but we bring your immune system up and we bring your hormonal health up. That is the power of a nutrient like vitamin D. Okay, if you've made it this far in the video, it's a sign you definitely need to subscribe. If you love that video and you want to dive into more of the information I have on this channel, go to this video. So if we're eating the same way all the time, then we're going to get stuck and we might actually gain weight.